My name is Rachel Reville. I am the owner and Chief Solutions Officer of PerfecTiming Concierge. We make everybody's life so much easier and simpler by being your other hand. If you were someone, do you ever wish that you could clone yourself or you had extra hands? We are those individuals for you. We work with busy professionals, individuals who are very busy wearing numerous hats and don't have the time to do everything that they want to do or need to do or don't know how to do. And we come alongside them and do those things for them so that they can continue to do what's really important to them. Scale their business, spend more time with family and friends, travel, just to make life so much easier. I love that my staff, we get a chance to be a blessing to someone every day, and every day is an adventure. I started many years ago. I was a wedding event planner and was hired, my very first wedding was hired to actually do the makeup for a client, and I then was asked to be the coordinator for the wedding, which I did. My very first one did exceptionally well, and from that wedding start getting opportunities to do other events, other meetings. I remember walking into a client's home and there were boxes along the foyer. And 3 or 4 months later when I came back, there were more boxes in the foyer. And so me being the one who wants to know what's going on, asked what's going on. These were here when I was here last a few months ago, and I discovered that they were physicians. They traveled a lot, they were very busy, and those boxes were items that needed to be returned. They had been in their house, hadn't had time to return purchases. There were certain things that needed to be done in their home, repairs, and I said, no, I'll do it, I'll take care of it. And I did that. I would hear clients not pay their bills on time because they were so busy. And eventually, so I started running errands, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. And what I loved more was hearing those clients saying, thank you so much. It's made a big difference in my life. I don't have to worry about whatever. I don't have to worry about food not being home, because we would grocery shop for them. Actually, my clients has caused the business to evolve from being an errand service to now we are a full service lifestyle management company. I was the recipient of the Business Builder Grant in 2017. The year before, I had a life-altering event that just made me put my life on hold. Couldn't drive, just health issues. And at the same time, my dad had passed away a month after, actually 3 weeks after that life-altering event. My dad passed away, and just emotionally, I was a little torn. Karen Mertes, the director of Fulfill Your Destiny, invited me to the charity. When I was invited, I had said no because I didn't, number one, I just wasn't able to go. There was a lot going on because of the health issues I was dealing with at the time. I really had to step back from my business, from a lot of the responsibilities that I was involved in other community activities. and I wasn't going to go, but because Karen asked me to come, she wanted me to be there, I said yes. While we were having the tea, which is, the charity is an incredible organization to raise funds for individuals, to give them a hands up, many times to give them a second chance. And I was awarded the Business Builder grant. I was so surprised. If you wanted to see ugly tears, there were ugly, ugly tears. Tears of joy, tears of gratefulness, tears of surprise. But that $1,000 that I was granted was a lifesaver for me. It was a godsend for my business at the time, because for 6 months, because of my illness of what I was going through, business really had declined. And at that time, I had been offered an opportunity to present a proposal to an organization, something that I had never been offered at that magnitude. And I needed help to write that proposal. So with that money, I was able to hire an expert in my industry to help me write that proposal, which was phenomenal. What I learned, the experience that I gained, the relationships that I gained in putting that proposal together and presenting that to that organization was incredible. This year, when Karen had asked me to come back and talk about the grant and how beneficial, the value that it had added to my life, and when I was sharing it, I just wanted everyone to know that life throws you some hard balls sometimes. Things happen in life. If you keep living, things will happen. But I had the choice. I could wallow in my pain and in my what had knocked me down for a moment, or I could be grateful. And I chose to be grateful because I knew everything was going to be fine. And so I had the opportunity to say thank you. Life is precious. There's a quote that I have on my email from Dr. Miles Monroe, one of the most incredible evangelical ministers passed away, but the quote says, "Time is currency. How you spend it is what you bought." Something like that. And it's true. We all have 24 glorious hours every day. And what we do with that day, we either invest our time or we spend our time. We can choose to invest wisely in relationships, in our business, in really what's important to us, or we can lackadaisically spend it on buying things and doing things that are not life-giving. Three weeks before my dad passed away, I had an event that occurred in my life that, according to friends, should have taken me out. It is truly by grace. It is by the grace of God that I am here, because I do not remember what happened or how it really happened. I just remember waking up fighting for life. Because I wanted to live. And four days in the hospital, test, we don't know what happened. But from that, I learned later, I get a call from my sister. Now my dad is passing. I need to get home. And I didn't know I was going to get home because I couldn't drive. And I was blessed, I am very blessed to have wonderful friends here who made a way within 24 hours to get me home to Georgia. And as I was there, my dad is definitely in his last moments, and he's quiet, he's asleep, he's resting. And I find myself, all of a sudden my body, I'm getting sick. I feel my body getting sick, and I said, I gotta go home. I can't be here in the hospital. But I knew I didn't want to leave Dad, because I didn't want Dad to leave. But I went home, I laid down, and while I'm there, I am saying, I don't want to be here without Dad. I don't want Dad to leave without me being there. And I feel my body just sick. But I started saying, it's amazing, the power of words, the power of your mind. And I began to say that I am healed, that I am well, that I am strong. And I began to speak really what I call life into my body. I was feeling one way, but I began to speak life into my body. And the more that I said, talk, my body is healed, I am strong, I am healthy, whatever was going on before, I physically started to feel my body change. And strength started to rise up and come up in my body. But as I was laying there, because this wasn't happening immediately, but gradually I started feeling better, I also started hearing words. And it was as if I was the words that I were hearing were words as if my dad was no longer here. And it was as if I needed to write these words. And I wasn't ready. But I knew I needed to. So eventually I got up and I heard these words. And I started writing. I started writing things about my dad, who he was, the man that he was, the father that he was, the pastor, the teacher, the entrepreneur. I started writing those words that I heard in my heart, in my spirit. And I eventually just said, okay, I gotta get back. to the hospital. It's the strangest thing. I don't ever remember that ever happening in my life before. I hope that doesn't happen again. And I got back to the hospital. And within, I believe, maybe an hour, if that, my two sisters and I believe my niece and nephew, we were there, and I'm standing over my dad's bed with my hand on him like this, my two sisters. And just like my dad had told us, my dad, who was a very godly man, a very spiritual man who knew God and had a relationship with God, had told us that he wanted to go to sleep. He wanted to pass away in his sleep, and he just wanted it to be peaceful. And just as my dad had shared with us, I had my hand on him like this, and just as peaceful and as glorious as it could be, my dad took a breath and he was gone. It was so peaceful that my sister said, "Is Dad gone?" Because it was like he was sleeping. We got the nurses, and I'm sorry. Thank you. But I saw in that beautiful experience, and to some, people see death, the loss in many different ways. I saw the loss of this precious soul, my dad. It was beautiful. It was a moment that here is someone who loved God so much, and even in death, he received what he had asked for. And I was able to be a part of that. I was allowed to be a part of that experience that my parents used to say, keep living, love. Death is a part of life. And you hear all these stories, sometimes very hurtful stories of people leaving here, but to have shared that moment for God to allow me to be able to be there with my dad and my two sisters was an incredible moment in life. So I'll end by saying, treasure every moment of life. Enjoy your children, enjoy your family, enjoy your loved ones. Do what you love. Be grateful every day. Because what we do with these 24 hours is we should be thankful. Thank you.
Thank you.